Hello, Veigar V2 back with another patch note rundown. This time it's a patch 9.20. I believe that Worlds will not be played on this patch. Since it's gonna be on 9.19. So this won't affect Worlds, but for our solo queue ranked games, this will affect us. So let's dive into it. We are shipping some pretty big changes to Garen, I play that, Shaco, I play that, and Viktor, I play that. So this patch will be good. Starting off, we got Blitzcrank. Base armor is going down, armor growth is going down. We like the extra range from 9.19, but I think he's a little too strong right now. I disagree, I don't think Blitzcrank is strong at all. I think the extra Q range is really big. But he still has other issues in his kit. He still gets slowed down with the W. He doesn't move around the map as fast as somebody like Pyke. And it's just a worse version of Pyke. The thing about Blitzcrank is that he counters champions like Tahm Kench, but you don't see Tahm Kench being played right now in the meta. You can't blind pick Blitzcrank because champions like Morgana still exist. If they made his pull be faster, instead of more range, that would make the Morgana matchup easier, because the Morg can't reactively spell shield as easy then, and makes it more of a skill matchup. So this lowering the armor, it won't affect it much, because AD carries can't walk up to hit Blitzcrank too often. This punishes Blitzcrank more if he uses his Q and it misses. So if Blitzcrank uses Q and it's on cooldown, then this is a pretty big nerf to Blitzcrank. Because that's the only time you're really going to be punishing the Blitzcrank. Either that or when you're in a wave and he can't walk up to EU. So yeah, it's a nerf to Blitzcrank, his Q is still the same. The strength of picking Blitzcrank is still there, there's no nerf to that. It is just a bit of a nerf to his laning phase, and also this nerfs his later on in the game, making him more squishy, but Blitzcrank isn't a champion that you stand and try to frontline as. You go get the pool and then you back off to peel for your carries. That's how you play Blitzcrank. So it's obviously a nerf, but it's not gonna do too much. It's only gonna do much because the Blitzcrank isn't pick or ban anyways, so this is only gonna make you, you know, like, okay, well, you know, now he's a bit nerfed, but it doesn't really matter because it's not the reason why you pick Blitzcrank. If they did this or something like, I don't know, like Braum or something, it would mean more. Because Braum can perma-take poke in lane. But Blitzcrank will only get poked if he can't go on you. Garen. We're also cleaning up his passive, allowing him to gain Conqueror stacks, a rune other Juggernauts get. Okay. Base stats. Base stats. Attack speed growth up by quite a large margin, that's nice. Health is just getting cleaned, so is that, okay. So a bit higher stats. It's nice, but not too big. Let's see, what do they do to passive? Before it was 2/8% based on level. Now it's 1.5 to 10% per level. His maximum health per 5 seconds, so that's stays the same. Removed, Garen no longer passively regains health. Double. Okay, what did they replace that with? 9 seconds when hit by minions before, that's how it was before. 7 seconds when hit by epic monsters, towers or champions. Okay, so this means that the only thing that will cancel his regen at all stages of the game, because before it was 9 seconds when hit by non-minions before level 11, 4 seconds when hit by epic monster tower champions after. Yeah, that was before, but now it's, you know, it does nothing, has nothing to do with levels anymore. And it's also 7 seconds when hit by epic monsters, towers, or champions. So if he gets hit by jungle camps, he will still have his regen. Okay? So, Garen jungle? I mean, the thing about Garen jungle is that he doesn't have any CC, but Predator is an amazing rune on Garen. So, Predator jungle could be a thing. But we'll have to see on the rest of the kits, but... yeah, I mean, this is just a buff overall. Like, the double health regen, this is a nerf for, like, bad players. But for good players, it's not, because Garen has a lot of sustaining lane, so you shouldn't be below... like, you shouldn't be this low, for example. You should only be that versus, like, Teemo, and again, in high-low, you don't play against Teemo, unless you're, like, Garen one trick that, like, first picks Garen, I guess. What do you do Q? Now scales with Garen's attack speed. Yeah, that's good, because it's really annoying late game when you have quite a bit of attack speed, especially with Triforce build, and you do like auto Q, and then your Q is like so slow and you just get locked in the animation. So that's really good. This is nice. But it's not like huge. Fix the bug where Garen is slowed. Yes, good. This has been in the game the entire time. And if you've been playing Garen Yuumi, you would realize this for a long time. Because like if you get like Janna W, then you Q, for example, it is really cancer. W. So he gets less magic resist and armor. Max 30 at 150, and it stacks slower as well. That's a pretty big fucking nerf, especially to Garen Yuumi. And it makes him have to itemize a bit different, because before you could, once you get this stacked, right, you have 50 armor and MR, just from the W, which was really broken, by the way. And then you could just go HP items, like Black Cleaver, Sterak's Cage, and you would still have resistances. Now you might have to change up a bit. If a Garen now goes Swiftness Boots, he'll get punished more. Basically. Okay, what did we do here? So before it was 30 extra damage reduction and tenacity for the first 0.75 seconds. Now it grants a shield for 10% of his maximum health and 60% tenacity. Before it was 30. Okay. Now we're not gonna do the maths, but we'll pretty sure the damage reduction is better, no? Should be. Until it should be at least early. This, like I said here, how Garen might have to itemize more resistance instead of just health. This shield here, for early game at least, is a nerf, and late game it's a buff. But then again, it might be. It really depends what when you're kind of using it. But how is the W gonna last? Like after you use it, right? Because this is for the first 0.75 seconds. It also has an effect after. So did they change that, or if that stays the same, then the new W is really good. But like this, for example, if Veigar ulted you or Karthus ulted you, you could time the W really easy, and you would take like 100 damage. Now I guess if you do this, you won't take any damage at all because it's a shield instead of reduction. But if you lost all the damage reduction afterwards, like if they remove that, then the W is really useless, no? But I assume, since it doesn't say anything here, I assume that he still has damage reduction afterwards as well. So if that's the case, this W looks pretty good. Especially the tenacity, not like you need more tenacity because there's so much tenacity in the game. And now that they said they're gonna make Conquer viable on him, you will have be able to go tenacity in runes as well. So this is kind of like placebo until like early game. So yeah. E 5 to 10, 7 flat, +1 per 20 attack speed from items and levels. Per 20 attack speed. So you get an extra spin, you get 2 extra straight off the bat. But this isn't leveled with skill points, it's leveled with Garen's levels. And then you get +1 per 20% attack speed. I mean, you cannot go Berserker Greaves, but what you can do is you can go Triforce, and Phantom Dancer should be fine. Issue with Phantom Dancer is you can't go Maw and stay rocks. So it'll be interesting. There isn't really many tank items that gives attack speed, so it's a bit weird. But let's see what else they do, because if they make his AD broken on it too, then we might just see full AD Garen. Damage per spin. That's also going down, what? Okay, I mean, plus based on level. So much numbers. Nerf early, buff late, I guess, because when you get this, then that's gonna make up for it. Yeah, so buff later, nerf early, I guess. But the nerf early is because you get 7 now, early, I guess. Bonus damage 33% to single enemy is how it was before. 25% nearest enemy. So again, that's nerf for lane and buff for later. Buff for team fights. I don't know, it's a bit weird because Garen was pretty strong in lane after like the second recall, even the first recall, because it doesn't even use mana. But after this, I don't know, it's really weird. Spins before shred 4 to 6. Now grant stacks of Conquer on each spin. So I guess that's what they are trying to push for here. Well, I mean, that sounds really good. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense because all the other bruisers gets to go Conquer and then Garen is like left alone. So yeah. Conquer Garen, it also gives you attack speed in runes, so to get another spin. So that's nice because you don't always need tenacity. So I guess attack speed Conquer Garen is what they're trying to push for. Let's see what to do with R and then we can really tell. So removed, no longer villain. That's good. I hated that. Because the thing is with this, it's a bit coin flip. Because if Garen is near the person that has the villain, he can do a lot. But if he's not, then it's really useless. Grants vision of target for 1 second. Good. That's a big quality of life buff. This is huge because Vayne can just cancel Garen ulti 3 times in a row with her fucking invis. So, yeah, that's gonna prevent that at least. That's really fucking good. Damage. Base damage goes down a lot. Let's see what to do to make up for that. They also nerfed the missing health. They nerfed the damage a lot. But now it always does true damage. So they add more consistency, but less damage. Because how it would work before is that if you ult the villain, it does a fuck ton of damage. It's not gonna do that much damage anymore, but it's gonna do more damage overall. So it's more consistent. It doesn't matter who you ult anymore. So that's nice, but the biggest change is the E for sure. The E will be interesting. It's hard to tell just from these numbers without doing maths. But my guess is that we're gonna see Bruiser, Conquer, Garen. With maybe items like Triforce, but then again, Black Cleaver is really good for the shred. So I guess you will itemize depending on matchup. If you're versus tank team, you would go Black Cleaver. And if you're versus bruisers or squishies, then you would go Triforce. I don't think we will see Berserker Greaves necessarily on Garen. But Triforce for sure. We might see a Phantom Dancer in some cases. But then you lose the Sterox, so it'll be interesting. Because maybe it's not even worth to itemize for all the spins either. It's more like a little nice extra thing. But maybe you can do some cheesy build that's working really good and then get 2 extra spins. Like, I'm not gonna do the maths, but like, let's say you go attack speed in runes, and then you go Triforce, and then full tank. That should give you 2 extra spins, no? And if that's the case, then you have 9 spins, and that's pretty fucking good. And that with Conquer, that's also really good. So, it's pretty nice for Garen. How is this gonna affect Garen Yuumi though? The health regen for bot lane is really fucking good how it was before. Removing that for Garen Yuumi is pretty big. This is big, this is good buff for it. This is nerf, because you want the resistances, it helps you in lane a lot. I mean, I guess you can go more of a damage kind of build on the Garen, and then Yuumi can also give from items and levels. Oh, this isn't from runes. I just read that actually. 28% XP from items and levels. So you can't do the runes that I was talking about. It has to be from items. Yeah, that's pretty useless then, I think. Then the biggest thing on the E is this. These things. That's pretty shit. I don't think Garen will be very good. Because the thing is, you can't just go full damage Garen. Because this is off his maximum health. So if you go full damage Garen, then he has no resistances anymore. And then he has no tankiness here. That sounds pretty bad. I don't know. It's hard to tell. So let's move on. I will try Garen Yuumi. And then I will probably make a fucking tweet or something talking about it to see, like, when I know if it's good or not. But this sounds really useless. Ivern is now a ranged champion. W no longer increases attack range. Ivern is now classified as a ranged champion for all runes, items, etc. Okay, good. The item things though. Ranged champion for all runes. That's gonna nerf like Knight's WoW on him potentially. And things like this. Like late game Knight's WoW. But overall for early game this is massive buff. Okay, nice for Ivern. Lissandra. Passive AP ratios are up. Armor is up. AP ratio up. Nice. That's really good. Issue with Lissandra though is that this champion is used as a counter pick. And there isn't too much to counter right now. On top of my head, the mid laners you can counter with her right now is like Akali, LeBlanc, and Qiyana. And that's about it. You're not gonna see Lissandra blind picks. So, because there's other mages that are good into Lissandra. For example, Vel'Koz, Seraph, Viktor, etc, etc, etc. So you can't blind pick Lissandra. But this is pretty big. Buffing AP ratios on 2 spells is really nice. Only issue is that these aren't spells that you get to spam. It's not like, let's say they buff 6Q AP ratio. That's huge because you're spamming that spell. You're not spamming these spells. So it adds a bit to her burst. Nice voice crack, lol. It adds to her burst, but it's not gonna make her pick or ban. It's just gonna make you have to be more cautious of blind picking Qiyana, LeBlanc, and Akali. But then again, Qiyana and Akali are flex picks, so yeah, you can't just answer Lissandra straight away, especially to the Qiyana one, because you can just, like, if you can first pick Qiyana, enemy blinds Lissandra, you flex Qiyana to jungle, and then Lissandra is blind picking top or mid. So Lissandra isn't that great, but it's good buff. It's not a small buff. Pantheon. Q base damage decreased later. Yeah, I mean, this doesn't do anything until, like, sieges starts to happen. You do max the Pantheon Q, though. So once it's maxed, then it starts to matter. Like here, nerfing 5 damage doesn't really matter. It's around, like, this mark here, it starts to matter. But yeah. Pantheon is still gonna be, like, really strong early game. And you only pick Pantheon to stomp early, so nerfing him later on doesn't do that much. Pantheon is still broken. Qiyana. 20 damage, level 1. That's pretty big. But it's just this one, right? It's not all the Qs. Or what? I'm assuming it's just maybe this one. I don't remember how Qiyana's icons look like, but if it's all the Qs, which I think it's all the Qs, because otherwise they might have... Actually, let's just check real quick. So that we don't talk about something that we don't know. Yeah, so see, like, this is Elemental Wrath Q. That's like the name. And then this icon is that, but then it says slash edge of... Yeah, so I assume it's all, I guess. Even though the icon that they're showing is the wall one, I assume. Well, I'm pretty sure this is the wall one, so they should have stated a bit better. But if it's just the wall Q being nerfed, it's not as big, because you just need to play around the level 3 Olin then. But if it's all the Qs, then it matters more, because you're only really gonna be using the wall Q if they're low HP, and you want to open with the stun Q. So Qiyana will still be broken for sure. She'll still be broken because it's only early game. So Qiyana's still broken. Shaco, the next big one, together with Garen, and it's another champion I play. Attack damage goes down by 3, attack damage growth goes down by 3. This only matters for Sterak's Cage, which you do not build on Shaco. And Trinity for Shaco, which I hope you do not build. I know that the NA Shaco main, Chase Shaco or whatever, goes Triforce. Triforce is really fucking bad on Shaco, and I can sit and argue for that all you want, but Trinity Force costs so much fucking gold. It's good on older junglers, but there's a reason why you don't see junglers go Triforce. It costs too much gold for it to be an item for a jungler to go. So if you go Trinity Force on Shaco, God bless you. So this does not matter for Triforce or Sterak's, because you should not build these items on Shaco. It is a nerf though. Base stats are always a nerf when they do get nerfed. And it's always a buff, even with the roundups. Even when they buff the HP by 5 to just round up the stat, it is still a buff. There's so many times when I've played out of my 1000 Veigar games where I live on like 1 HP. Like literally 1 HP. And if they rounded up stats, I would have lived in more cases. So, yeah. This is nerf. Passive. Basic attacking the enemy now deals an additional 10, 25. Goes up by level. Small AD ratio. Damage from behind. So it's the same backstab mechanic. This damage can critically strike. Two-shield poison now deals an additional 15 to 50 damage from behind. So you want to open with E if possible over the auto attack. So this buffs his ganks. It has small ratios, which means it doesn't scale that good. But for your ganks, it's good. Q, this is something me and all the other Shaco mains have been begging for a long time. Because the issue of Shaco jungle right now is that you would go 2 points Q or even 3 points and then start maxing your E. With this, you don't need to, as far as I see right here. We will have to look at the other things to, you know, still see if we need to put other points in Q or not. But just from this alone, you don't need to. Cooldown. Okay, the cooldown goes down with the rank 2. And this goes up. So it depends now what they do on the E to see if you want to put points in Q still or if you want to put points in E. The Sieve cooldown no longer reduces when exiting. What? So it starts ticking even when you're fucking invis? That's so fucking good. Because if that's the case, that means that you can just Q, and since the cooldown is starting to get really low, you Q, you go in, and then your Q is up again afterwards. That is really fucking good, what? Damage goes up, base stats, and ratio down. They remove the AP ratio. That doesn't matter to me, because when I play AP Shaco, I'm not going in. I'm purely playing around my E and my W and my ult. So that doesn't matter to me, but for other AP Shacos, I guess that could matter. The 80 ratio is pretty big nerf though, but the base damage is good. I'm glad to see. When striking from behind, the Sieve is guaranteed a critical strike. Good. It's a buff for early game, nerf for late game. W. This is the biggest, probably. When triggered, the boxes can now attack multiple enemies in an AoE range. AoE damage, 15 to 35, 0.1 ability power, single target damage unchanged. Okay. But, so he does less damage. Non-champion fair duration, 2 seconds. And what about champions? What? That's gonna stay the same, I guess. Fair movement speed 160. 60 for minions and monsters. That's really good for jungling. Because sometimes jungle creeps would actually get fared away from the box and not take any damage. So this prevents that. It's staying the same on champions is nice. So what does this mean? Well, what this means is that when they go in as multiple people, the box doesn't just target one person. It targets everyone. Single target damage is unchanged, so it seems like the W still does the same damage as it did before, just that now it does the damage in AoE. That sounds really fucking broken. So Shaco support is getting buffed. But let's see. The cooldown still, like, nothing changes to cooldown here. Let's see, real quick here. Because I don't know what Riot is, what, if Riot ever watches this video, what Riot should do with their patch notes is when they do shit like this, they should put exactly like next to it like how it was before. Because right now I don't know if they're adding all of this on top of the current W, or if they're replacing things. So let's see. This is the fleet duration. When you skill up, when you put points into W, this is how it would go up. Let's see, have they updated this? Q, yeah, they have updated it. So this is the updated Shaco. So this is how it is now on the patch. So when you put points into Shaco W, the cooldown does not go down. The fleet duration goes up. And so does the damage. So let's see what to do to the E to see if you have to max W or E now. Even for support. So let's see. E. Damage type changes from physical to magic. That's pretty big for... it depends, because it can be good for both. If you have a magic pen, it can be, like magic pen early, it can be good for AP. For AD Shaco though, it might be a nerf if you have lethality build. Again, I don't exactly know the maths, but what we were suggesting as Shaco mains is that we want the E to be adaptive. So what that means is that it will do physical / magic damage depending on what you're building. So damage goes up a lot in base. And again, the AD and the AP ratio gets nerfed, so less scaling, base damage goes up. So more poke in lane for lane Shaco or better ganks for jungle Shaco. Execute damage, 0 to 50% increased damage based on missing health. 50% increased damage on targets below 30% health. Perfect. Because before, it would be maxed out at 0% health, and now it's maxed out at 30. So really fucking good. I think for support Shaco you would still max W. I don't know why you would think otherwise. Because the fair duration still goes up on the W. And the damage goes up. Like, yes, the E damage is nice, but if you're spamming E, you're not going to be able to spam boxes. And if you're playing Shaco support to spam E's, I don't know what the fuck you're playing Shaco support for. Go play Syra. So that doesn't make sense, because the base damage here is already up, so that's already a buff. You maxing it, because remember, you're playing support Shaco. If you're playing support Shaco, you're getting levels really slow. So, in most games, you won't even get to skill your next spell fully. So yeah, I would not do this. I would max W, and then I would max E, since you don't need to max Q. But then again, with these Q changes for support, you might be able to go in a bit more, and then you can still get out afterwards. Because you have max cooldown as support. So I don't know. I would not max E. But yeah, for jungle, it's buff early, nerf late. That's pretty much, like, the TLDR of the Shaco changes, no matter what you're playing, it's buff early, nerf late. Because the ratios on everything is being nerfed. So once you get to the point where you have big ratio, like, you know, you have a lot of AP or AD, then you do less damage. But in this meta, you should be happy that you get buffed early. So, let's move on to the R. Box trigger after 2 seconds of what it was before. Box triggers immediately. That's huge. That is massive buff. Massive buff. Thank you so much. Damage goes down a lot on base, and this time also on ability power. So again, nerf late and nerf early for this one. New. Box AoE damage. Yeah, because, yeah, like the W. And then one flat. Yeah, so nerf for AP, buff for support. Again, Shaco support stronger than ever before, is what I get from this. Jungle Shaco stronger early, a lot weaker late game. Is it gonna make Shaco broken? No, I don't think so. Is it gonna make Shaco better? Yeah. Is it gonna make Shaco support broken? Probably. Sona. Quality of life changes, nobody cares. Actually, well. Yeah, well, that's just for bad Sonas. Base 80 increase, rounding out stats. 2 extra 80, he doesn't build Triforce or Sterak, so that doesn't matter in that sense, but it's an 80 carry, so base 80 on 80 carries is pretty big. Mana regen is especially good for Varus. 1 extra health. You see, like this thing right here, you know, you play 100 Varus games, this is gonna help you, by the way. So, it's nice. It's not big because Varus isn't meta, per se, right now. So, yeah. But it's good buff. It's good buff, but it's not gonna make him pick or ban. Viktor, this is probably the biggest one. I play Viktor, this is my most played champion, like one of my most played. I easily have like 500 games of Viktor. So let's see. Bug fix, Hex core stats now update upon purchase. Yes, good. Bug fix. Okay. Q. Before it was 8% of his maximum mana. Okay, now it's 30 to 115. Leveling of yourself, okay. That's really good, especially for soul lane. 15 ability power. That's really fucking good. Because the maximum mana makes it so that if you go the Archangel Iceborne kind of build, you become really tanky with the Q. But that's pretty dead. So the only mana item you really go now is either Lichbane if you're bad, or you go Ludens if you're good. I go Ludens. And then you have Hex Core. So, early game shield buffed, late game shield nerfed. Because the AP ratio stays the same. But that's not a big change. This is the big change. W. Enemies stunned by gravity field are dragged into the center. Okay. Enemies stunned by gravity field are dragged into the center. And that's the augment, yeah, so that's the upgrade. Now the upgrade of the W is direct hits slow enemy by 20% for 1 second. Does not proc on R ticks. So what this means is that once you upgrade the W, which is pretty fucking late, sadly. Because if this was, you know, on just every W, you basically get a Rylise on your Q and your E, not on ulti, so keep that in mind. But on Q and E. But the thing is, like, Rylise you used to build on Viktor, you don't really build it anymore, to be honest. So, yeah, like, if you do get to late game on Viktor, then this is good. Go to the right here. Giving Viktor some love by offering him more exciting augments, first W and R. I don't think just because of this that you would upgrade W over Q. The E you're obviously gonna do first, right? So you will do E first, and then second you would still do Q. But the thing is, you could argue and say if you do upgrade W second, you don't need a movement speed from the Q because you slow on your spells. But I disagree with that. So yeah, when you do get fully upgrade, it's really fucking nice. And since fully upgrade you don't need levels, it's an item, it doesn't get that late into the game. So it's actually really fucking nice, because you don't build Rylise on Viktor anymore, and now you get Rylise on your kit. But what you do build on Viktor, and what I hope you all should be building on every AP champion, is Liandry's. If you've been following me for a while, you know that this is an item that I've been talking about for a long time, that people should have replaced Oblivion Orb for on most AP champions ever since Oblivion Orb and Morellos got nerfed. Because Haunting Guys is super fucking good, and Liandry's is also really good. Liandry's, whatever you want to fucking call it. So yeah, Liandry's on Viktor with these slows is gonna be nuts, because Liandry's does more damage basically when people are CC'd, and this is CC, so this is really fucking good. R will continue chasing champions even after Viktor dies. Good. Good. Because before, and this would be really fucking annoying versus certain champions, is that if you die, your ulti just sits there. But now it will continue following, so that's really good. It can move over terrain, that's also really good. Okay, so they tick every 1 second instead of 2. And they tick 6 times, and then they half it here. Yep, they half it because, you know, it ticks more times, so this is really fucking good. Especially with how much mobility there is in the game. And this also makes it so that his R doesn't need the Rylai's. So adding Rylai's on his Q and his E, and not on R, it doesn't matter that R doesn't have slow, because it ticks so fast. So I can't wait to play Viktor. What do they do to the augment? Okay, so it moves in faster. Perfect. Viktor is really good. Viktor's really good. Only issue is that mages in mid lane aren't that great right now. At least for high elo. For low elo doesn't really matter too much, but still. You'd rather play mages in bot lane, but bot lane Viktor has been a thing before, and I can guarantee you with these changes, Viktor bot lane will be a lot better. I will still play mid lane because I'm psychopath, but yeah, Viktor looks to be really good here. This is really good buffs. Rounding it out, we have a change. Active shield strength increased on Locket. So more strength flat. So rushing it will be better. Yeah. It just buffed early game, nerf to late. But I think it will be buffed late to 15. Yeah, it'll be around the same. Just better to get it early. Yeah, so that's the patch. Just quick TLDR. Viktor looks to be really strong. Varus, Sona don't matter. Shaco support buffed. Everything about Shaco is nerfed late game in terms of damage. Shaco jungle will still be bad, but it's buff still. It won't be broken, but it'll be more playable. Kiana is still broken, Pantheon is still broken. Lissandra is even better off pick into things like LeBlanc and stuff. Now it seems like you don't lack damage by picking Lissandra, so that's good. Ivern we won't see him picked just because of this, I think. Garen will be hard to tell, because there's so much numbers. But what I'm guessing, just looking at this, is that they're trying to make him do more damage. But the issue is, if you go damage on this champion because of these changes, you will be very, very squishy. And he is still easily kiteable. So considering he's still very easy to kite, making him squishier just hurts him. The Blitzcrank doesn't matter. So yeah, enjoy the patch, guys. It looks to be another good patch from Riot. And the last patch was also another good one. So I'm really happy to see Riot stepping up their game. Thank you guys for watching. Follow me on Twitter, join my Discord. The links are in the description below. Bye bye.